Consider for a moment, if you would, the cross hanging in the sanctuary. Imagine it could have been an axe and a block. It could have been a hangman's noose. It could have been a cup of hemlock. Or perhaps, those of you that have been in Florida a while, old Sparky, our electric chair. Or now, a gurney with outstretched arms. We Christians celebrate a symbol of torture. Did you hear that reference from Paul to the Philippians? He accepted death, even death on a cross. So horrific was that death, was that implement of death, that people were afraid of it. It was used to suppress dissidents, those that would upset the order of the world. And yet, it is the symbol you and I glory in. This feast of the cross is unlike Good Friday, when we recall Christ's death. Today we recall his victory over death. The cross in our sanctuary does not have a body on it. Some would say, how could a Catholic church have a cross without a body on it? There have been others. St. Charles Borromeo, for one, for many, many years after the fire destroyed it, had simply a cross and a resurrected Christ in the sanctuary. And he wasn't on the cross, he was beside it, and larger than the cross. Even our own processional cross doesn't show Christ crucified. He's resurrected. His eyes are open. He's looking at us. He's calling us to pick up our own crosses, to follow him. Christ was lifted up for us. Did you see the parallels between the first reading? The people grumbled against God. So he sent snakes, seraphs. People were being bitten, dying. And in repentance, a brass snake was fashioned, stuck on a pole, and lifted up. How many of you have seen the lapel pin of a doctor? The snake lifted up. The healing. Christ lifted up on a cross for us heals us of what ails us. And what ails us is sin. When we become so self-possessed of it's our way, we're more important, and to hell with everybody else. That attitude exists in many places, even in churches. How many times have you seen people leave church all pious and holy and go out into the parking lot and start cursing and driving like maniacs because they got to get to wherever they got to get their cigarettes, their beer, or there's a football game on, even if it is Washington. But it is the cross that symbolizes for you and for me that forgiveness that was attained by Jesus being willing to give even his life for us. The gospel says it eloquently. For God so loved the world that he sent his Son. Not to condemn us, not to send us to hell, but to save us from hell. To save us from even the hell of this life, in which we combat loneliness, hunger, homelessness, illnesses, unemployment. All of these little hells that are out there today are conquered by Christ. Not sitting there omnipotent from heaven pulling strings, but through the actions of his people. The actions you and I take in our lives to reach out to others, to make God's love known to them. Today is a day to celebrate, a day to be thankful that God has saved us. Let us rejoice in the saving gifts of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit.